I felt very alone for almost my entire life. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. I was the youngest of four. I was always picked on, bullied. I was sexually abused when I was a kid by a man that I didn't know. I was always picked last on sports teams, and I know you weren't even picked for, I think it was the step team or some type of
the drill team.
The drill team. I remember how that kind of transformed your life.
It was defining.
Defining, right? These moments that we go through as kids can really define and shape us. And so I feel connected to you in that sense, that I felt very alone and didn't know who I was for a very long time. And still I'm trying to learn who I am.
Yeah, me
And
too.
You are?
Yeah.
But you seem like you have it all figured out.
Oh God, no, I don't. No, I don't have it. I mean, first of all, I think the one thing I've learned in my research above all else is that in the absence of love and belonging, there's always suffering. So when I hear about your experiences growing up, that's suffering.
Yeah.
You know, that's real suffering. And for me, not making the drill team when I was, I think it was in 8th grade, by itself is not a lot, but how my family responded to it. It was like when things changed for me and I didn't feel like I belonged to my family anymore. So I think that I still am trying to figure it out. I don't know that I've interviewed anyone, even spiritual leaders, who have the belonging thing completely nailed, because I don't think it is what we think it is. You know, I don't think that it's having a big posse of friends or having a crew or rolling with a bunch of people. I think I'm still trying to figure it out because I still feel lonely and alone and on the outside of things on a really regular basis.
Really? I mean, you're going on a book tour with thousands of people, 15-city tour, millions of fans around the world, and you still feel alone.
Yeah, I can feel really lonely.
Why?
And it's really hard because, you know, you talk about that book tour. I'm severely introverted.
Yes.
Super private. And so I love that connection between me and an audience, but it can also be hard on me. And also, I'm talking about things that it's weird to me that people sign up to talk about them, but they're hard topics sometimes. And we laugh and we have fun and we'll sing. But I think what I've learned in doing the research on belonging is that belonging is being a part of something bigger than yourself, but it's also the courage to stand alone and to belong to yourself above all else. And so I think I spend a lot of time belonging to myself, and sometimes that makes other people uncomfortable. And so I think that's hard. I think I do feel, I'm always looking for, I don't know about you, but I'm always looking for the roadmap. Like I want to find the researcher, storyteller, Christian, lover of all people, fighter of the resistance. I want to find the blueprint of who's ahead of me believing what I believe in and doing it really well.
If you had a microphone and everyone had headphones on, was listening to the end of this microphone, and you got a message to share to all the men in the world within 60 seconds or less, and all the men were going to put on headphones and hear a message from you.
It's very Orwellian, I like it.
And you got one chance to say something to these men from all over the world, and they could all understand English, and they understood you.
You're taking care of all the logistics
All
for me.
logistics, they got it on. It's not fuzzy, there's no Wi-Fi signal. Everyone's got access to hearing your voice for 60 seconds. All the men, and all the women are actually standing by listening as well. What would you say to all the men of the world in general?
Golly. You know, I wouldn't want to screw that up. Let me think.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think I would say that vulnerability is not weakness. It's about the willingness to show up and be seen when you can't control the outcome. And it is actually our greatest measure of courage. So show up in an authentic way and let us see your hearts, because we know how lonely you actually are.
Wow.
Yeah, men are lonely. I mean, it's really, men are lonely. It's really hard.
Yeah.
But I would not I don't think I would say anything differently to women as either. Because I think there is certainly, for women, the greatest shame trigger is do it all, do it perfectly, and never let them see you sweat, look perfect, work perfect,
In
live
all
perfect.
areas.
In all
The
areas.
workforce, at home.
Yeah, be smoking hot and brilliant and this, but don't ever look like you're putting any effort toward it. And so
easy, right?
Right, it is. I don't understand why
Every
my
woman should do
sisters
this.
have not nailed that. But I think so. It's hard for women to be vulnerable because it's less than perfect. So I don't.
You mean women aren't wearing masks?
Yeah. Yeah, and it's terrible because then the two collide. And you see in a lot of partnerships, I mean, I've seen it so much in my research, this contract we have where I'll stay smoking hot and awesome and, money and provider shame is such a real thing for men.
Right.
And, you do this and this is our contract and we're both in straitjackets till we die. Yeah, and so
How do we remove those jackets?
Yeah, we just start getting real with each other. We just start being really honest. And we see each other. We really see each other.
Yeah. Wow. I've got a few minutes left, so I'm going to be mindful of these questions.
I know,
'Cause I could ask
unfortunately.
you-
Let's go now. Let's cut it.
I could ask you, I could talk to you for hours. Is there anything you feel ashamed of still?
Oh, I have moments for sure. Like, I will have moments of, but now I know, we can't ever get rid of shame. What we can do is develop resilience to shame. So when it happens and it washes over, that warm wash that makes you feel small and not enough, when that washes over me, rather than yelling at my kids or just decimating myself with hateful language, and like, you're stupid or you're not, Now when it washes over me, I'm like, okay, I'm in shame. Don't talk, text, or type. What happened? So there are still, I still have triggers around it. I still have triggers around it. I still think it's probably the same. Motherhood, trying to, do everything and balance everything and be where I'm supposed to be, and that's still hard sometimes.
Yeah. What's the process that someone should take on when they feel shame, anger, rage?
Well, shame I can really help you with is, first and foremost, talk to yourself like you talk to someone you love. So if something happens and you're overwhelmed with shame, the first thing you need to do is get back on your emotional feet. Don't talk, text, or type to anyone, because one of the things we want to do is push that shit out on other people.
I'm good at that.
Yeah.
I'm guilty of that.
Yeah. So just get into a dark, quiet place and then talk to yourself like you talk to someone you love. Just be like, dude, it's okay. Like, you screwed this up. What you said was super hurtful. You're gonna have to circle back and clean that stuff up. But give yourself a break here, just like I would talk to Ellen or Charlie if they made a mistake. Then reach out and talk to someone about what you're feeling. Shame cannot survive being spoken. So if I call you and I'm like, oh my God, Lewis, I'm in a shame shitstorm, you're not gonna believe what happened, and you listen to me and you respond empathetically with something like, oh my God, I've been there, or oh God, I get it, I'm sorry, that sucks. Shame can't hold on, because shame can't survive empathy.
I 100% agree with that. Quick example, for 25 years I held on to this shame of being sexually abused by a man that I didn't know. And I was like, if anyone knew this about me, my life was over. That's how shameful I felt, embarrassed and abused I felt from the experience. And when I finally had the courage to share it, it took me, a couple of years to share it over and over many, many times. I don't feel shameful. Like, I can talk about it openly and freely without feeling embarrassed, without feeling weak, soft, vulnerable, because, I own the experience and it's not something I have to hold in and like react through rage, because I can just share it and I can communicate, as opposed to
it's so brave.
Hold into this.
Yeah.
And I think whenever I face anything that I'm scared to talk about now, I just say, well, how can I talk about it? How can I journal? I like to journal first.
Oh, that's huge.
So no one can shame me, right?
Yeah,
No one has to feel that.
that's huge.
Yeah. And then start having conversations. And when we have ownership over that shame, I feel like it doesn't own us anymore.
So that's a perfect example. First of all, It's devastating that that happens. It happens to boys.
1 in 6.
Yeah, and they think that's an underestimate.
Yeah.
They think that
No, 1 in 6 is what's known.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they think it's probably double that
Yeah.
because of our culture and inability of boys to speak safely, even to their own parents around it.
I never told anyone.
Right.
My parents didn't know.
Right. So here's the example exactly. You talk about it now. So two choices. You own your story, you get to write the ending. You don't own the story owns you.
Yeah.
So then you talk about it now. So shame can't hold on. But then people see and hear you talking about it, and it gives them permission to talk about it. That's why shame cannot hold on to being spoken. So your courage to talk about that deflates shame. It takes it out of the air.
Yeah.
It's like filtering poison out of water
Yeah.
because you've got the courage to speak up. I mean, and that's how it works. And that's how all of this works, is that we own our story or it owns us.
Final 2 questions. This is called the 3 truths. I ask everyone at the end of the interviews 3 truths. You've written many books, all #1 New York Times bestsellers. Let's imagine it's your last day many, many years from now.
Yeah.
You get to write the story when it's your last day on your own terms,
Yeah.
right? You've written every book you've ever wanted to write. You've
Okay.
said everything you've always wanted to say. You've done every video, interview, whatever it is, you've achieved anything you set out to do.
Okay.
But for whatever reason, it's all erased and gone. So no one has access to any of this information.
Okay.
And you're there with all the people you care about, and you have a piece of paper and a pen, and you get to write down 3 things you know to be true about everything you've experienced in life. This is all people would have of your message left behind. What would you say are the 3 truths for you?
Steve, Ellen, and Charlie were my greatest true loves, for sure. After that, everything seems small. Love takes courage. Be brave, let yourself be seen. And don't wait for the grown-ups to get there. That's the myth. We don't know what we're doing. We're just putting our best foot forward. So if you have an idea or an answer, go for it. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Before I ask the final question, I want to make sure you guys go get the book.
I'm scared for the final one. I'm like, cut. Let's go. Wrap it up.
The final question's easy, but this is Braving the Wilderness, the quest for true belonging and the courage to stand alone. Make sure you guys go get this book. It's going to be a game changer. Highly recommend it. I'll have it linked up everywhere on the site and below this video. Very powerful. You're an incredible writer, and I just know this is going to serve so many people who feel alone in the world of uncertainty. And I want to acknowledge you, Brené, for being an incredible gift to the world with all of your imperfections and the beautifulness that you have within you. I think it takes so much courage to share these things the way you've been doing them for years, decades. You've been opening up and talking about it, and to bring it out to a public platform and continue to dive in deeper. I acknowledge you because the weight that it carries of listening to everyone else's pain. As I've started to open up about mine, I just feel the weight of everyone now sharing with me. I can only imagine
It's a lot sometimes.
the weight that you get to carry and are privileged to carry because of the work you're getting to do and the impact you have on so many people who are suffering, who feel like there is no hope, there is no way out, who are stuck in all areas of their life. You give people such inspiration and tools and education on how to transform their life. So I acknowledge you for all the work that you do.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
To own your story and love yourself through that process. That's greatness to me.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you.